disrupt their mind, but that is a their mind problem, not a my mind problem. And I was telling them like that. I realized around 20, I realized that at the end of the day, life is gonna happen, but I control my mind. This isn't weird. D.E.S.
Oh yeah, what was that? The more I watched it, the less I was able to even not follow it.
Wait a minute. The more you watched it, the less you were able to follow it.
Not follow it, but the less I was able to
be interested in it.
No, not that, but even understand what was going on in their mind.
Well, all right. Well, why were you losing what they were talking about, or what was going on in their mind?
They really just it's almost like thoughts just pop up. The thoughts are just happening. Like if you're driving down the road and it's raining, the thoughts are just hitting the windshield, and they're just either wiping them away or they're just following the thoughts. They couldn't really explain where they were coming from.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, I don't know what that means.
Well, I'll give you an example of some shit. All right, so, because I don't know how good of a job I did trying to describe.
But I have to watch more, because I think I only caught 4 or 5 hours.
I mean, 4 or 5 hours, I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of time to just hear someone talk about a few moments of their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you think about it, this doctor is asking these people to describe what happened in this 10 seconds, and they're just going through 20 minutes of just asking about 10 seconds of someone's life. And it's just that hard to talk about it.
But then I also was kind of skipping, and I was trying to watch them on their third day of sampling. So that way they would fully understand what they were supposed to be looking for.
Right.
And they could, because the first couple of times they were kind of confused.
They get a little bit better as it goes.
And but still, it was still the thoughts were just happening. And they
so this is a better way of looking at it. This happens all the time in my job, all the time, and it's so funny. So again, at my job, because it's a resort, when you get a check, you eat your food, you get the check. There are already places for you to write. You could write something off to your room, right, with a signature and a tip and all that sort of stuff. So usually when you go out, it's just the itemized bill. Then you give a credit card or a form of payment, then they come back with something. There are already lines on there. So it fucks with people, because if they don't have a room, you just drove in and you're going to pay with a credit card, they will sign their name on it and walk out. And then it has been on me to find these people sometimes. I go kind of chase them down and be like, may I please have a form of payment for this meal that you had here at this restaurant? And they'll be like, oh, well, she didn't already charge me? And be like, no, man, we need a form of payment. And she'd be like, oh, well, I gave them my credit card, and, they just brought this back that, when I signed it. And so this is what's going on in their mind, because you brought them a piece of paper and they signed their name on it. There was this whole part of the interaction that took place in their mind, but not in reality, where they gave you a credit card, you walked away, charged the credit card, walked back, gave it to them, and then they signed their name and walked out. But none of that actually happened in reality, but it happened in their mind. And that happens often. And so that's a little bit of that's another testament of what it is we're talking about, where people are not the experiencers. It's going on in their mind, but that's not at all ever happening.
That's almost like some Pavlov type shit, right?
Pavlov.
That's the experiment where you keep doing something to somebody and they expect certain results.
Oh yeah.
They kept ringing the bell and the dogs were
Oh
salivating.
yeah. So, you can definitely.
If you just get something back that shows hey, sign your name here, you're thinking, oh, I must have paid.
I must have already paid.
Yeah. I probably would have been like, hey, yo, I didn't pay yet. Is this right? Like,
yeah, you would at least ask. Yeah, like what is this? Like if I exactly.
I didn't even pay yet. Yeah.
Nope. They just walk right out. And again, it's not even like, oh my God, oh, I'm so sorry. They're just like, they'll tell you. No. I gave them my credit card. They walked away, came back, gave me back my credit card. Like they create this whole thing that didn't happen. Yeah, so
you're
that's
sitting there like, nah, I'm telling you, that's not how we do it here. You get that first. You get to explain that to them.
Bro, almost every time I go to work. That's
happening way too often. Hold on.
Yes, this is a very common occurrence. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's not just difficult for people to articulate their experiences because they don't have a large vocabulary. It's not that. No. It's because they are not there.
Yeah, the brain's just kind of filling in space.
They're just filling in space.
It's one dude was like,
welcome to the Any Last Words pod. My name is Earl Lonnie Hooks. A very, very special thanks to everybody that will be joining us today on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, as well as YouTube. And please do not forget to follow us at ALW Pod on Instagram. The God in me, honest to God, in each and every one of you. Mike is back. Go ahead.
Mike. So one dude was like better at it. Like he knew off break. Like, yeah, I don't be paying attention. I forget his name.
Oh,
it wasn't Lena.
Was it Ryan? Ryan Langdon?
Yeah, Ryan.
Oh yeah, that was the guy that put the tweet out in the first place.
Oh, okay.
That even got people on Russ Herbert's radar. Yeah.
Hey, I was looking at them views. Damn. Those got like 100, like 100 views. I was like, damn.
No, just
damn. Like,
just think about all of the things out there that got mad views on YouTube. Like, it's just the way it goes, man. It's just what it is.
Because the videos are the study. It's not like the results of the study. You're watching the actual study happen.
But
real time.
But I'm interested in it. Yeah, but no, that's just not it. People don't fuck with the studies. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, listen. There are a couple things that we have to get to today. So maybe I should just I should get straight into them.
All right.
First thing being, we were talking so damn fast on the last episode.
That's a bet.
We were going back and forth so quickly. There were times, and I thought that this was hilarious listening back to it. You would ask a question or I would ask a question, and we would continue to talk, and the other person wouldn't necessarily get a chance to answer the question that was asked. But then the ideas, and again, started churning so quickly that I don't think we really minded, because then we would just move on to like the next thing. But there were at least 3 or 4 questions that I asked you that I just kept talking over you and you never got a chance to answer. And that you may have done it once or twice, but I'm going to ask you at least one of them.
Run it.
Which is, okay, so when it comes to the conversation between you and your woman.
Right.
Because she probably has not run into another person that thinks like you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how she interacts with all the philosophy and shit that be going on in your mind. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know if you care to try to get her interested in it, or if she tries to be interested in what you have going on, or like what, so how does that go? What's the ratio? Do you sometimes try to just cool it and just talk about like regular, normal shit as to not try to overload?
There's always like a even ebbs and flows kind of thing, but not like up and down, but it's, the conversation will happen when either like we're watching something or something happens like in life, like, or like when we throw on that How to Change Your Mind.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like into it, asking questions because she had never really thought of things a certain way.
Right.
And I would break it down in my own little Mikey way, but then I'd also let the documentary kind of talk it, and like it would like go mesh together. Like I'm better at finding examples of what I'm trying to like say, and then I'll like kind of narrate and let what I'm showing like narrate the thoughts as well.
So when you say narrate the thoughts,
like I'm big example guy. Like if I'm trying to like break down like something crazy in my mind, I'll go find a quick example and then like we'll watch it together.
Okay.
That kind of way.
Okay. So that way you have an aid.
Right.
You have it's like a teacher's aid.
Right. And it happens in like any topic. Like the other week, because she's studying, getting into RN school. And she was asking me what I know about like how blood flow like goes through the veins. I mean, I'm not an expert at that. I had my own little idea and like my own little analogy. And then I read what her notes were saying in her textbook. And then I kind of understood it, but I couldn't really explain it in like a good enough way. I didn't have an analogy ready to go like I normally do. So then I went on and I found a video and we both were watching it. And as I started to understand it more, then I threw me a little analogy in there.
Okay.
And she started to understand it more.
Okay.
And then she moved right through the lesson. So it's topic by topic.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. But you feel like you have like a healthy balance of like trying to talk about these things.
Oh yeah, especially like with dreams and like, you know, I said it last time, I stopped like, I wasn't in like the preacher mode anymore, like running around. Right. I just let it come up in conversation. Right. And then boom, snapping into Mikey mode. Yeah. And then as I'm in that, I make sure I go find me a little aid to go along with it. Yeah. So it doesn't come off as just in my own head. Like it's out there. This idea is already out there.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want to come off as though like you're creating all of these ideas and like,
especially with like, sleep paralysis. She has sleep paralysis.
Often?
Not as often as she once did, but it happens a lot. Sleep paralysis, lucid dreams, dreaming about things that happen before they happen.
Dreaming about things that happen before they happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like premonitions is what you just said?
Yeah.
Like that's a raven.
Right. Yeah. Dead ass. Yeah.
Okay.
Premonitions. I'm pretty sure I even still have the text that she had the premonition that we had a girl like a year ago. No, it had to be more than that at this point. It was like 2 years ago. And she didn't even remember that she had that premonition. I went back and found it. I was like, do you remember this? And I was like, I told you, like, there's something extra to what's happening in the dream world.
Oh, so you write down...
No, I just found it in the text thread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I found it in the text thread. She's like, wow, like she was like, that is kind of crazy. And I was like, I told you, like, sometimes if you pay attention to dreams, you'll see things that your brain is trying to show you because we don't really fully understand what's happening in that world.
Yeah, no, not at all.
We don't know what's going on in their frequency. And then I'll go find the Netflix, like, not the How to Change Your Mind. There's like a sleep docuseries, I think. And it breaks down a lot about the meaning of dreams and stuff. And we'll watch that. Yeah,
that shit is deep. I've always walked past like those dream interpretation books in the bookstores. I don't know how much credence to give those things. I mean, I don't know how much credence to give a whole lot of things. But I'll tell you this. I was at my job the other day and I thought that this was going to be a very, very slow and uneventful day. It was a slow day, but it wasn't uneventful.
Those always be the ones. Let's be the ones.
But I'm always just, I'm just open to stuff. So I'm sitting there and I'm chilling right by the like sort of host stand by my restaurant, just hanging out. And there's this woman that comes in and she's in her 60s. She's pretty eccentric. Like I can already tell, like she dresses like she was probably a hippie. Yeah, like back in the day.
Peeped it.
And, she was just ready to have conversation really early on. And she's having breakfast with her husband. And next thing I know, she gets up out of that chair and runs over to me and is like, how do you feel about saving birds? Come with me right now. And just runs outside. And I follow her. And she said that there was a bird that had smacked right into the window, like right next to her head while she was eating food. First of all, fuck.
Yeah.
So we don't know why that happens, right? Like birds, can they not perceive?
I mean, this glass is probably super clean at this point. It ain't like the glass back in the day. There's probably some good glass out here. Because humans run into glass.
That's very true.
So them birds probably see some shit and it just wham.
Yeah, humans do run into like screen doors. Yeah, that's very true. I think I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah,
but to be an adult and do it is funny. Okay, so this bird smacked into the glass really hard.
Yeah,
right. It sounded like someone threw like a rock at the window.
Yeah,
because the beak probably hit first.
Yeah.
She runs over to this bird. She's like, I've been saving birds since I was 13. Come here, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And I was just like, listen, it's an uneventful. I was like, you know, it's a guest here. I'm trying to accommodate. I'm like, sure. All right, let me
learn how to save birds.
Right. Exactly. That's what my mind goes like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm about to save a bird with this woman.
Yeah.
And she goes and she picks the bird up, and that bird, let me tell you,
it was up out of here.
It did not look like it was going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like already on its side and its little legs were kicking and like the wings weren't moving at all.
All the spinal injury.
Well, what she was saying, because I don't know who. Well, no, I do know this woman is one, which is really, really funny at the end of this. But she was saying she felt like the bird had gotten a concussion or something. She was like, the eyes are starting to close. I could barely take it right now, because it was fucking sad. It was an intense scene. Yeah. She had picked this bird up, this itty bitty bird, had it in like the palm of her hands, and she was trying to warm it. Right. So she was trying to create like a little makeshift nest. She was picking up some grass and putting it in her hand, trying to warm the bird. And she was over there and she was like legitimately crying. And just the human in me, it was at this point, it's past me being someone that works here and her being. So I'm now holding a woman in my arms, like rubbing her back. Right. Consoling her as she has this little bird in her hand, and I'm like, and we're petting the bird together.
All you understand is that this is affecting her right now.
This is a woman that's sad and she's crying in front of me with a baby bird in her fucking hand.
The way she's looking at the bird, you're looking at her.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And I'm looking at the bird too.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see the little bird eyes closing, like slowly, like closing. And you could see like it was trying to fight. And I was like, oh, this shit. First of all, also keep in mind, I don't think I've ever watched anything die in front of me. Not like anything big enough. Again, like I'm not talking about like an insect.
Yeah, you're talking about like
a bird, a cat, a dog, like anything with some real weight to it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever just sat and watched
that can
it.
Almost communicate back, kind of.
Right. I don't think I've ever just sat and watched one die before. Yeah. I didn't grow up with pets. So I'm sitting there and these little bird eyes just gonna keep closing. It keeps trying. And then she like sets it down on its legs and it kept like tipping over and she just kept putting it back up on its legs and like tried to put a little makeshift nest around it with just like little fucking hay and mulch and grass to try to keep it warm and keep it steady in one spot. And then we come back in and she's just rapping about her life and who I am, asking me questions about where I come from and talking about she's been traveling the world. She's been an actress and a model her whole life. And well, not her whole life, because she's older now, but she once was. And talking about my energy as a being and a spirit and how it's beautiful and all this sort of stuff. Like again, she's a hippie child. She's a flower. Yeah, exactly.
She's one of them. Yeah, she out here.
She was an old flower child. And she then starts telling me how she's a medium.
All right.
Right. So again, these things, I take them as they come. Like, I'm going to listen to you. I don't know if it's like the dream interpretations. Like, I don't know, but I'll listen because I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
you might know. I know that I don't know.
And I know that you possibly don't know or probably don't know, but I'm going to listen to see what you're talking about.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck else I gotta do? Like,
that's how I be with them homeless people out there.
Right, that's what you were saying last time.
I don't know. I just know that I don't know. I'm about to find out what they think they know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so she starts telling me, she's like, you've lost 2 people in the past year. And I was like, right. So biological mother a few months ago, grandma almost a year ago. Now. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, sure.
But did you let her know that she was right?
No, I just let her. First of all, I just let her talk for first. Right. So she was like, I think you've lost a couple people, and they're right here tapping me on my shoulder right now. They're tapping me on my shoulder, and they're trying to get your attention, but like you're not paying attention, Earl. Like you're not paying attention to the signs, but they're trying to get in contact with you, and
what they want,
they want you to. You're not visiting someone. Like there's someone that you need to go visit. If you don't visit them, you're going to regret it. I keep getting E's, like 2 E's, E, right? I keep getting 2 E's. and these two people want to go visit this person, but they want to go visit them through you. Like, you have to go so that they can spend time with all of you. They were like, she was just like, do you know anyone, E.E.? Does that make any sense? I was just like, I mean, my dad's name is Earl Eugene. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Earl, you have to go see your father. Like, these people, have you lost these people? Then I let her know. I was like, I lost my mom, lost my grandma. She was like, Earl. She was like, see, why? She was like, and then she was like, why didn't you say that at first? She was like, why didn't you tell me? She was like, we could have stopped this a long time ago. This is who I'm talking about. You have to go see them. She was like, Earl, trust me. You got to go do it. Like, now they're calm. Now they're leaving me alone. But they were really adamant for a second. And I was like, okay. Now, also keep in mind that in this, she also spoke about having, like, there had been, I believe, like, brain surgeries that this person had to go through.
I mean,
okay,
but she was right. That's crazy.
But
that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, but you look at it, people, and you're like,
but I know. I think that's great, and I've looked into this a lot, and people. They do this thing all the time.
They make it real broad.
Yes,
but
vague and broad. Two E's, like E's.
Specific was that?
Two E's. E's drop everywhere.
But there's only one E that you know, right? It's not like you know a bunch.
If I tried to, I could think of all sorts of people that I haven't visited that have EEs.
Who? Name one more.
Anyone
that has to relate with you losing two people.
Oh, that has to relate with those. I mean, it could have been. I mean, it wouldn't have been alliteration like Earl Eugene.
Okay.
So if that's what you mean,
yeah.
But I can find people within my family or that I don't see often that have E's in their name.
Right.
So it just depends on that. So it fits that one really well because it's like Earl Eugene. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And she picked two people. She kept saying something about the color blue too. She was like, it's blue. Do you have something of your grandma's in the house? Like, it's probably blue or something like that.
That's more broad.
It is. Now, I'll tell you what, if I walk around this bit somewhere and I find something like, oh, I forgot that was hers. And it's a blue, that'll be funny too.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, so I don't.
Right. You're still in the middle of it. Like, okay, but you're not about to jump all the way in.
She named the little bird Earl Jr. Right. At some point in time, I was like, oh, damn, we should probably go check on him. We walked over there, bird flew off.
Right.
Actually, I didn't quite get to see. That was for dramatic effect. I didn't actually get to see the bird, but the bird wasn't in the little nest that she made for it. The bird was gone.
Yeah.
And she was like, Earl, I think that this bird came. And now you know how people feel about birds slamming into shit. That it's like an omen.
I've heard of that.
Right. So she was like, Earl, this bird came and hit this window so that I could come and talk to you and tell you to go do this thing and fulfill this prophecy and blah, 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 blah.
She could also be somebody hired. You know, that's the way I think. I think, well, what if somebody hired her? She already knows.
She was an actress that was on the Love Boat. I won't say what her name is on here because I don't know, but I'll tell you afterwards. But yeah, she was like a famous actress. So it was really funny. Afterwards, she was just like, type my name in Google, have fun,
and
walked off. Does she have a
son that's famous too?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. But I just thought that it was interesting. So again, I listened to people. And I ended up telling my dad that story because I went to go have some wings with him the other day.
Yeah.
And I told him that story in the midst of like what was probably one of the best conversations that him and I have ever had.
Right.
A lot of it having to do with healing and psychedelics and all this sort of stuff that we talked about on the last episode.
Like I be saying, it's a lot of shit out here that our brains don't pick up on. If one of them cracked the right way, that can pick up on some shit that we don't normally pick up on, that could be a thing.
Yeah, it's very true.
I mean, because I know for damn sure the shit you pick up on that you don't catch under normal circumstances. And you're like, damn, I wish it. I don't know if you wish, but you're like, I wish I could have this a little bit more often, but not like all the time. Maybe there's somebody out here whose shit is just on all the time.
Yeah, you don't want. Yeah, it's very like you're talking about the amplification of certain frequencies, like picking up on certain frequencies, traveling through the airwaves.
Whatever's out, yeah.
Yeah. And that some people are just more in tune to certain things. I think that's kind of what they even say about mediums. Is just this person's in tune, or they're in touch, or all that.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many fake ones, phony ones that like run it up.
Schizophrenic people.
Yeah, that too. That like if somebody were to really be on that shit, it'd be hard to believe it, because you see the examples of people who are just lying, doing it for money. The TV, that'd be bullshit. And then crazy people who we just see who are clearly just out there.
I think everything that's good on this planet has that.
Yeah.
Everything that's good has a bunch of people that are trying to commodify it and manipulate it and turn it into some bullshit. So then a bunch of people are like, I want nothing to do with it.
Right. So it's easy to just dismiss all of it. That way you don't, follow bullshit. But there might be somebody who's really on that shit somewhere.
That's what happens when you say the word mindful. There's certain scientists there's certain people that will purposefully subtract certain words out of their vocabulary because they know if they say it that way, the person's they're gonna turn off immediately. Mm-hmm. They're just gonna hit the switch and they're done listening. Yeah. So you have to try to find ways of like incepting people's minds without using certain keywords that are going to turn them off.
Like for good ass example, if you tomorrow morning when you're on your way to work, if you get beamed up into a UFO, okay, and they put your ass back down, and for some reason time hadn't changed, but you were there for like 12 hours, and you try to tell people, bro, like, what could you even say?
Like, what could you say?
What could you say? Nothing. Either you look crazy or you say nothing. You're not gonna be able to get people to be like, yeah, man, he was right. You just gonna look crazy or just say nothing, man. Like.
There's not really much you can say. Huh? Like you can't do anything.
Right. So that's gotta suck. If it's happened to somebody, that's gotta suck.
It must be the most frustrating thing ever. It's like, bro, I got taken a fucking outer space, or I was somewhere else. Like, bro,
they'd be like, nigga, you sure, nigga? You be on there talking about mushrooms and shit. Like, you sure that happened to you?
Yeah, that's very true.
Right.
So, especially if you've been like public speaking about doing psychedelics or any sort of plants. Yeah,
they're gonna write that shit off.
Damn,
that sucks.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
I don't know. This reminds me. I had an idea of a movie of like a guy who's like swears that like, what if aliens are after him, and he's like running around looking real crazy, and he's trying to tell people like, bro, I'm telling you, they're chasing me, and the whole movie, and you start to see glimpses of something is chasing him, and then finally they capture his ass and they take him away. And then they just like kind of rip his face off and realize, oh, he was an alien the whole time and forgot that he was down here playing the role of a human. Whoa. That'd be a wild ass movie.
You just wait, this was just something that played through your mind.
Yeah, it was just a random movie. You know, I be having random movie ideas.
They sent an alien down to play the role of a human, gain some intel.
Yeah, he forgot.
Oh, he was playing like a double agent, probably because
he was here for so long. He just forgot that he was an alien.
Oh, that would be a good movie because they already have all these sorts of like really good spy movies where they're double agents. But to be a double agent for like an alien civilization where you come down and then you're like, man, fuck these humans. But then you kind of slowly start to become human. Yeah. You see the struggles of the humans and you understand them and the beauty and the hope of them. And then you want to fight against the aliens, or you at least want to stop them from killing the humans.
Yeah. Something like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, man.
That's a good one. Okay. Crazy segue. Left turn. Our last episode had someone come and talk to me about something. It was through text message. This is in no way, shape, form, or fashion, because they'll listen to this one too, me trying to reprimand them or me trying to like have a full-on conversation with someone else about them. It's more so about the idea. So here we go. First, let's just see if you and I agree on just this one thing. Do you believe that anyone of any race can be racist?
Yeah.
Okay. So to you, that was a very, very easy question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on my definition of racism.
Which is roughly...
That you just don't fuck with certain races. I know people will throw that definition of, no, the definition of racism is you have to be able to oppress the system. And it's like, okay, that's another definition. I'm just talking about my definition.
You have to be like, like you and your race have to be in a position to create systemic racism.
I mean, that might be the official definition, but what's the connotation?
Let me look at it because I definitely I mean that may be one of because first of all every single word has mad fucking definitions.
Maybe that was the original definition, but I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, to me now, when I think racist, I just think somebody who's not fucking with another race.
A belief or doctrine that inherent differences among the various human races determine cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to rule others. A policy, system of government, etc., based upon a fostering such a doctrine. Discrimination. 3. Hatred or intolerance of another race or other races.
So that's number 3.
Yeah.
So I don't have to check all 3 as long as it meets one of the 3.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right.
Okay. I think you and I are on the same page about this, so we can continue forward.
Okay.
What would you say if a white person said, I don't really like black people? Do you think that is a racist thought? I don't like them. I don't I don't like them.
I mean,
I don't really like being around them. I prefer being around white people.
That is racist thought, but at the same time, I like some open racism.
Okay, I'm just asking you whether it's racist.
I think I've been in that situation before.
Where someone told you like,
I was in the car. It was me and the homie with the long dreads.
Okay,
it was way back in the days too, like 2011. She's like, see, that's why I don't like black people. And we were like, oh, yo. We just ran that. Yeah.
Yikes. In the car with you?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I forget what he was doing.
That's an awkward car ride.
It was right along the lines of playfulness, but not really.
Yeah.
It came out too sharp. It came out way too sharp.
Okay.
And I was just like, damn. But in my mind, I was like, at least I know. I just like some open racism. Fuck it. You know?
You like open racism because it's at least one true.
Yeah,
like it's honest.
Honesty. I can't make somebody like a whole race. Like, you can't.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I've had a friend of mine because I think that this ideology of one that black people can't be racist is something that has swept a lot of minds.
Yeah,
that's
very
one thing.
Strong out there.
I think it's strong out
there. I can't be racist because I don't have the power.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is when it comes down to human beings and regular human interactions, no one's worried about the big superpowers that create any systemic issues for anyone.
Right.
It's we're all here hanging out, and did you just say something racist to so and so at my party? Like that's not where the rubber meets the road for most people, so to speak. Like that's not real life day-to-day racism. We're talking about how do you treat other people in any daily situation. And so to say that you can't be racist in those situations, I find to be extremely interesting. I don't know how people really, I mean, clearly it seems to me like an out. Like, oh, I can't do it. Like, I'm exempt. So therefore I get to act however the fuck I want to, which is a crazy way to be. Now, I know someone that has said to me in various times, I don't like white people.
Yes.
And I don't prefer them. I don't like to be around them.
Like D.E.S.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. All right. Now again, I flip the cards. I see the matches. I draw the parallels. Right. Sometimes it's very hard for other people to do such. Now, I'm having a conversation with someone that was listening to our conversation about psychedelics. And they were like, I think that I would love to hear what your ayahuasca experience would be like because I had one. And this person was like, you know how I feel about white people. But yet I was in a room full of white people and I couldn't have felt more loved and more at peace and more comfortable. And I would love to see that. Now, I texted this person back and said, I'm glad that your racist tendencies didn't hinder you from that experience. And this person replied and said, I don't like the word racist in there, you know, and I was like, well, you have said to me on various occasions, you don't like white people.
Oh, I see where it.
And that you know, and then you just said, you know how I feel about them. So maybe I don't know how you feel, but you even just saying, you know how I feel about white people. Right. That seems racist to me.
Right.
And they said, well, racist seems like a strong term for what it is I feel for white people. And I'm like, this is interesting because I don't think that most of the time I've been around black people and they're having conversations about racism, that they give that sort of nuance to white people having complex feelings about how they feel about other people that aren't white people. But now this person who is a black person is like, I think that that's a strong term.
I mean, it just is what it is. It's hard. I mean, it's if you don't
look at you trying to figure it out. No,
right. Like
no,
it's a strong term.
because my thing is, okay, I don't know how other people feel because I wouldn't say this about anyone.
Right.
I wouldn't say this about Africans or Indians or Asian people, or I would never be like, and you know how I feel about them, or I don't like them, or I don't prefer them. Like I would never say that because them isn't a thing to me. Like there's individual people that act in their individual ways, and there are certain things that certain cultures share. But I couldn't just be like
maybe to them the term racist is like a hatred.
Okay.
Maybe racist to them is like a strong feeling. They're just like, nah, I don't hate them. I just don't like them. But like to us, we're like, you dipping that toe in that water.
Hey, I just wanted to bring this up.
You know?
I think it'll be interesting for people to hear these words because maybe people have complex feelings about how they feel about people with certain hair or certain eyes.
I think it's all about the definition, their definition of the word. Like you were saying last time, as long as we all have a complete understanding of the word, what the definition is,
then you move on.
Then you can try to figure out like what we're talking about.
Yeah, what the details of the nature of that thing is.
Yeah. It's definitely got to be what it is.
Okay, well, you and I have come down to the definition. And you and I have some semblance of an agreement on this. Do you think that does that meet racism in your mind? Does that qualify?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To me, there's a scale. It's just a scale of it. It's a dial to it.
Okay, a scale of racism. Yeah. But you think that it's low level? Because here's the thing. Slave masters also used to have sex with the slaves.
Right. But they were still racist.
Right. Okay. So there's scales. Like maybe they might even raise that child.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe they even have a favorite slave that they kind of treat better than the rest. Right. But they're still a slave. So of course there's like scales and it's weird and
there's levels to it.
There's levels to it.
But it's still in that racism pool, that racism lake. Racist lake. You got your feet in the racist lake. You might not be swimming, but you got your feet.
You did
in the racist lake.
You got your feet in the racist lake. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I just want to try to open and develop that conversation because I think it's very, very easy for people to just kind of push that on other people and not take that on. And if you don't have people ever asking you these questions or say anything, the same way that black people were coming at white people, especially in 2020, being like, are you racist? Maybe you don't know that you are, and trying to heighten their awareness to the racist acts that they do unknowingly. Well, maybe we ought to just, twist the mirror around for, once every now and again. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. And I got that on various occasions here. I got a few of those. Like, this is one that kind of disappointed me at the time that it happened. Yeah. Dr. Carl Hart. You and I, we've enjoyed his interviews. right?
yeah.
I forgot where the fuck he's from, but he's a guy that he doesn't advocate for hard drug usage necessarily, right? Crack, heroin, psychedelics, but he does think that there ought to be a space in which people are allowed, and there are already these things in other countries where you can go to these clinics and do these things cleanly,
under supervision,
cleanly,
good
with
quality,
pure
medical
quality,
professionals, substance abuse professionals around
certain doses, like perfect doses, like understanding all these different things and being able to use everything at our disposal.
Because he also understands we're not about to eliminate these substances off the planet.
Right.
They're going to be here. Humans are going to use them. So if we're going to use them, get educated about them. You can just use them the right way, at bare minimum.
It's sort of like, I think the best he could do was liken it to sex. Sex is going to happen, and it's going to happen amongst young people. So what do? We educate them on it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to happen. Educate them on it. Tell them about safety. Tell them about what happens if you're not safe, right? Like explain to them the ramifications and try to put them in a space where they feel comfortable and they understand what the fuck is going on in life. Well, there were two interviews in particular that, again, had me just disappointed. One was the JRE with Joe Rogan, and the other one was the Breakfast Club with fucking Charlemagne and Angela Yee.
Breakfast Club was wild.
And, like Charlemagne asked him questions like, "Are you tweaking right now?" You invited a man on to your talk show, and now you're asking him if he's having withdrawals from heroin and he's tweaking out. You know what I mean? Like it's disrespectful, and not only that, but they weren't listening to the words he was saying. They kept twisting his words, and then he goes on to Joe Rogan. And I forget which one came first, but then you just have someone that's just.
I think he was on the Rogan one first.
I think he was.
Yeah.
And he's just Joe Rogan's just having a conversation with him. He's just listening to what it is he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's just responding appropriately to the years of research that this guy has delved into with various other professionals as well. And it made me, again, it disappoints me because as far as black people go, the Breakfast Club is up there in media. In the media sphere, the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, he's up there high.
Yeah.
And so for that to be who people turn to for information, that's rough. And it's just another one of those things where we just have to keep a close eye on ourselves. Because again, it's not always someone else's fault.
No.
We have to look at ourselves. And so that one, I was like, we can't even have, it's not that you don't agree with the guy. It's just that you can't even have an open, honest discussion about what he's talking about.
If I remember right, though, I think, was it Angela?
Angela Yee, yes.
She was like the only one that was actually trying to listen to what he was trying to say.
Yes.
And kind of breaking it down like, no, he's just saying that he wants to make it safer for the people who are going to do them.
Meanwhile, DJ Envy and Charlemagne talking about, I just don't understand why you trying to tell all young black boys to do heroin. Yeah. It's like, that's who, crazy. No one said that. Like, why can't we have an adult conversation here? And, I just, whether it comes to us being, racist or bigoted or whatever the case, I just feel like we just have to do a better job at looking at ourselves and not excluding ourselves and absolving ourselves from wrongdoing the way that we look at other people for doing it. Like I really, really feel like we have to hold each other accountable. And that's actually what one of the talk spaces was that we did on Twitter with Anthony Stokes, when he was saying, how do we as black content creators like hold each other accountable? Because some people would say, nah, don't do that. Like there was a moment where when J. Cole came out with the song Snow on the Bluff, and it was him responding to a woman on Twitter named No Name.
Remember this.
And I guess she was on there trying to call forth these black leaders in a sense, like, oh, y'all rapping and y'all
I remember all that.
Y'all pose as these super conscious dudes that are trying to pull the generation and the culture forward, but yet all this stuff is going on in the streets 2020 and we're not hearing nothing from y'all. Where you at?
I remember all that.
And then there were comments from both Kendrick and Cole that just came out on songs much later and pretty much was just like, listen, you sound like a smart person. You sound like you came from a great home with some parents that taught you some things. You want to know where I grew up? Yeah. You want to know where I came from? Because I didn't have
think he even said like I'm not this smart.
Yeah, that was the very first thing he said. Niggas is he said people thinking I'm a genius, fooled by my college degree. My IQ is average. There's a young lady out there. She wasn't smarter than me. Yeah, like that was the very first thing he said. And he said, just because you woke and I'm not, that shit don't give you the right to act like you better than me. Like you're woke to this thing. Like, okay, like try to help us get up to speed then. And then Kendrick had his own things that was just
help me.
Kendrick said, what did he say? He said, what he said? I just put this on Instagram. See, wait a minute. Men aquí, c'est la vie. I tell the whole truth from A to Z. Show me you real. Show me that you bleed. Hello, crackers. I seen niggas arguing about who's blacker, even blacked out screens and call it solidarity. Meditating in silence made you want to tell on me. All right. Let's talk. Let's move into what our position is ethically and morally when it comes to fighting the fight.
I mean,
did you go to any protests?
Nah, I didn't go out there.
Okay. Why you answer it like that? No, nah, I ain't go out there. Now, why didn't you go?
I know my nature.
Okay.
And I know if I was going to go out there and shit were to get hectic, I would have to respond in a hectic manner. Like, I think about scenarios too, in every extreme, like.
Right. Extremes on both directions. Ranges.
So I'm watching what's happening and I know how I'm going to respond in an extreme scenario. So I knew it'd just be best for me not to go out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. But you would have wanted to had you felt like you couldn't handle it.
Right.
And you wasn't going to end up hurting somebody.
Right.
Okay. So this is just more of like a self-control thing.
Yeah. I was just like, nah, I don't need to be out there right now.
The same reason why you don't get petty with people because you're too good at it.
Yeah.
So you just choose to like bow out.
I was like, I don't need to be out there right now.
You just gracefully bow out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also didn't go, as you might have guessed, but it wasn't for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
You would have just not caught me out there.
Oh, I already know. Yeah. I don't.
You would have not caught me out there.
Not to say you didn't care what was happening. I could just see you. I don't see you out there like, fuck that shit, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about, nigga? Like, I don't see you getting amped up. Like, you're not about to be out there amped up, ready to rock.
And that's the thing is like there are a lot of different ways to do things. And there is this sweeping phrase now that people love, which is like protect your energy. But it's only really protect your energy when we think it's okay for you to protect your energy. Yeah. Aside from that, you need to be out here with the rest of us.
All right.
You go protect your energy when we want you to.
Yeah.
It's sort of like vote. Like, oh, we just want you to vote. We just want everybody. We just support voting. We just want people to get out there and use their voice. But who you voting for?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, we want you to do these things, but we also want you to do them the right way, though.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So, Kendrick thought he was just going to sit in the house and meditate, and he was going to be all right. Until people was like, Kendrick, where's Kendrick? We need Kendrick in the streets.
Where everybody out there? Where the fuck is Kendrick?
Like Kendrick was going to be the one.
He was going to be the one.
Right.
We're the one if Kendrick was out that bitch.
Which is why he came out with songs like Savior, like, I am not your savior. Yep. And he came out with Mirror. I chose me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, sorry, my friend. I didn't save the world. I was too busy building my own again. Like,
I wonder if it's fucking with him or not.
Not going out there?
Yeah, do you think he's like regretting it now? Like, damn, but like at the time I was trying to do this. You think it's fucking with him?
I don't know, because he also said like run protest for you. 365 for me. Like, he makes it seem like he be fighting in ways that people don't understand.
Yeah, it seems like, so is he like really trying to get people to understand why he wasn't out there? Is he trying?
I think he just gave a couple of bars, and I don't think it matters that much.
He wasn't out there because I've been fighting every day.
I just think it's just one of those things that was on his mind, so he decided to just like give a few lines out just to let you know what it was he was doing. Like, he said I was protecting my peace in the Valley of Silence. Like, that's where I was at. I was just off meditating somewhere and trying to fucking get my life together.
Okay.
Like, I can't be out there. So my thing is, one thing is I have a hard time with groupthink. Like, because say it's sort of like the huge difference between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, Magneto and Dr. Xavier. Let's say we have the same vision, but we're about to go about this in two different ways. And so if I go out there and some shit pop off, I'm technically out there with the shit popping off. And I'm like, oh, wait, I ain't want all this.
Right.
I wasn't even looking for what y'all doing. I thought we was just chilling. Like, I thought we was just going to say these things. Like, y'all out here breaking shit and looting or doing whatever. Like, I wasn't trying to get into all that. But because you decided to go out there, you're now mixed up in a bunch of shit that you didn't necessarily need to. And you could have supported another way. And it didn't have to be a black square on Instagram. And it didn't have to be you going out there in the streets. It could have been you trying to figure out how you're going to protect your mental fortitude in the midst of all this wild shit going on. And maybe you feel like that's the best thing you can do for everyone is make sure you're good. Like that, like that's a standpoint. So, you know, I mean, I forgot where I was going with all this, but I mean, it is at least at the just bare minimum interesting to think about what it is your particular contribution is going to be for any fight, and also trying to go through the thought process of, is what you're doing helping? Right? Like, is it really? Now, I understand that everyone feels like they're helping with all the fights that they're a part of. Like, everyone feels like they're doing the right thing. I had a friend call me that works at a museum. She's an art conservationist. And she was like, we just had a meeting the other day, and the meeting was called to try to figure out what it is we're going to do if some, climate change activists run up in here.
Oh, because I seen this shit.
And start fucking up our art, or just like start doing whatever. Like, or how are we gonna, because again, she's art conservationist. So in her pocket, they're like, what can we do to try to restore the art after they come in here and do something to it? Or is there anything we can possibly do to try to stop it? Which none of these museums are doing, because people are just running in there and they just doing stuff. Now, this was something that I like kind of heard about.
Oh, you ever seen it? Have you seen it?
Like, which one are you talking about?
I've seen a couple where they just run up and just splash some dumb shit on the art. Bro, the whole thing, this is wild, because you know how I feel about art in the first place. All right. So, and to see somebody run up in there.
You feel about art the same way that other person feels about white people.
Like, no.
It's like you don't really care for it.
No, not all art, but like, you know, some art, I think that shit is a scam. I think it's money laundering, and I think it's a scam.
Right.
So, but it's funny. Like, I mean, the declared historical pieces, it's just, they just run up in there looking nerdy as hell, splash some shit on it. For most of the time for climate awareness, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to draw the parallel.
Okay. I'm glad that you are, because when she told me that, because she had a bunch of other questions and she had a bunch of issues with the meeting at hand and all that. And I don't mean to get into all that, because my mind was arrested at the point of, what are we going to do if XYZ happens? And again, I'm not thinking about these things because I'm not on Twitter watching this stuff, but I do, I have some vague memory of hearing about this going on in the world, especially since I think it popped off in like 2020, but maybe 2022. Either way, it's been happening in the past few years, all over the world.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
And I was doing the same thing you were doing. I'm like,
super glued himself to it.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I know you're trying to make a stand.
Yes.
For climate change.
Yes.
trying to figure out why the people who really care about art are going to be able to help you fight climate change.
So, okay. Because I was on the wrong path, the same as you are. Is I'm like, what is it?
Is the Senate going to look at that and be like, fuck the art? That's it. Make the bill now. Like, I'm trying to figure out why the art. Like, protest how you do it, but.
Okay, so again, this is my thing of trying to open the conversation and open my mind to the fight. Because you're not going to catch me out in the protest. You're not going to catch me out looting. You're not going to catch me out hitting nobody. Yeah. You're not going to catch me at the Capitol steps. You're not going to catch me in the museums crazy gluing my hands to nothing.
It's still hot outside.
But I know that other people are going to do this. You know what else you wouldn't catch me doing? Going to war. But people are going to have to join the military.
I wouldn't.
And be a part of that.
Go to war.
You wouldn't actually physically get dropped in the war zone.
No, I'm saying like I wouldn't go to war, but I would fight war if war came to me.
Came here. Right? Okay.
Right. Because now we it's real. Like, we got to get it popping. I'm not going to go to their house.
Right. But they come over. But they go to your house.
Something happened on home court.
You got to.
I mean, what you gonna do? You gonna not fight? Still get shot? Like, what are you gonna
do? That's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they come over, what do you do? Like, are you just gonna go? Like, just start.
You're not gonna ignore it. You can't ignore it. It's happening. You're not just gonna go to work. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna go to the grocery store? Like shit ain't happening. It's not happening. No.
Oh man, that's rough though.
Yeah.
People just pulling up and like you just gotta, you don't know. And that's the worst part of it because you don't know who this person, like you're just fighting. You don't know who this other human being is. You're just trying to kill them.
It's like, oh shit, they're just
trying to kill you, trying to kill them. Yeah. You don't know why.
Yeah.
But you just know it's either them or me.
Yeah. But yeah.
Either way, the idea is that just because I wouldn't go do these things and I have my reasons as to why I wouldn't go do these things, it doesn't mean that I shut my mind off to the fact that maybe some people need to do some 100%. Of these things in order for some things to happen.
Yeah, like I'm not questioning the care or like
the intention behind it.
I'm just trying to
figure out like if the method is optimum.
Right.
Or sensible.
Yeah, way like
logical.
What brought you to like down your list of all right, next let's start attacking art? Like I'm trying to figure out.
So she sent me an article because I couldn't figure it out. So she sent me an article. Now I understand it.
Okay. And
I was like, okay, I get it, and I still wouldn't be out there, but I get it. Okay. So this is what the idea is. You enjoy the movie Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio and all of that, and Jonah Hill and all that?
1,000%.
So you understand the idea of being a fucking scientist. You also like Randall Carlson and
Graham Hancock.
And Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
So you talking about the frustration of someone getting sucked up by a UFO and coming back and trying to tell someone. Yep. Imagine the frustration of someone that really knows that we're going to die tomorrow, but that we could stop it. Like we could stop it from happening, but if we don't get on board today, we will die tomorrow. And they know this information. It's only like them and two other people that know it. And they get a little bit of time on a fucking Breakfast Club or whatever media picks them up, and they're trying to talk about it. But yet, because of the way the media is, what matters more is what Kanye just said.
Yeah.
What matters more is what Kanye just said and what Kim Kardashian just wore on the red carpet. And that matters more than the asteroid about to come wipe us all out.
They're trying to get people. They're trying to just bring awareness.
And so the fact that
we're talking about it now is like it's a dub for them.
It's a dub for them. And it's more so it's like it's trying to call awareness to the fact that you all will be upset if I splash some paint on a painting.
Will we? I mean,
well, yes, because people are upset and it's causing this. We're having a conversation about it right now.
Yeah, there must be a whole other world.
It's not that you and I are upset.
It must be a whole other world.
But people are upset that people are just walking into museums.
Come on.
Think about people that like to go to museums a lot. Like you just have people going in there and like disrespecting art that people really, really enjoy. Now the thought process is, you're upset because I'm disrespecting art. How about all of us disrespecting the planet, which ought to be the biggest showing or exhibit of art that we could ever fathom. Now, but yet y'all talking about this painting and not the earth.
Are the people who are upset about the art the same people who are denying the climate? Are those the same people?
So I don't know. So they're thinking that if they raise enough awareness this way through people, then the gatekeepers, the key holders, that they're going to at some point in time have to address this.
Okay.
Now that's where it gets shaky for me.
Yeah.
I understand the intention behind it. I understand the logic behind it. Like, you guys are worried about this fucking art. Fuck this art. Like, fuck this art. And the fact that you're even upset about it is what we're upset about. Is the fact that you're upset about this thing,
and it won't be here if we don't.
But it won't be here if we don't fix this other thing. So that is the thought process behind it. Now, whether you believe in global warming or whether you believe that we are the driving force behind it, that's a whole other thing.
Whole different argument,
exactly, because people could be like,
bro, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
We're speeding it up, but it's gonna happen.
Right. So that could be that too. So a lot of people that are just like going out and trying to do this fight, it's like, I understand you trying to fight for something, but like, is it necessary? Yeah. Could you do something better with your time? Maybe, some people would say no. Like, this is the highest thing to fight for. So it's interesting when it comes down to belief and someone really believing in something, they gonna fight. They're gonna fight. And you just always gonna have fights between like what you value and what I value.
Yeah, like, did you see the shit in Ohio like last week? Dudes pulled up in like armor, big ass guns, mask. They were like protesting like a drag show or something.
They were protesting the drag show.
They were out,
meaning
they were just out there trying to be scary, and they ended up like canceling whatever like drag show event was going on. They ended up canceling it because a bunch of dudes showed up with like ARs and camo and masks and shit. Basically, you're corrupting the kids. Like, they're fighting that fight.
That's what's kind of wild about living in America.
Yeah, man.
Is like, we have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom of assembly. So like, people can pull up. We have the right to bear arms. So people can pull up. That's a right. Armed.
Yeah.
Talk shit. Talk their shit.
Yeah.
Those are all rights.
Yeah.
And so anyone that feels anything about anything can do all of those things.
And it can just go left.
And it can go left really fast.
Yeah. Imagine if nigga would have thrown a rock, bust one of them in their head.
Oh yeah. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Now some of these art pieces, sometimes what the transgressor, right, the defiler of these things will say, well, they're doing an art piece of some sort. They're doing performative art. I'm gluing my hands to this thing, and I believe that one in particular was called Scream. And and so they're saying, I scream, because they're gluing their hands to it, right? So it is a painful thing to do. So they're saying, I scream when I see us neglect the world. I scream when I see us not setting the world up for our young ones and their young ones after them. I scream. So a lot of times they use the actual piece of artwork to exemplify what it is they're trying to get across.
And another thing, the people who know enough about their climate change, who also care enough about climate change, that also want to make a statement, are going to do shit like that aren't going to harm people. They're going to do it in a way as nice as possible. So that's probably why we get this disruption of art instead of somebody doing something very crazy to bring awareness. Like, think about the shit that they do in their pastime that brings them joy. They're like, we have to disrupt this shit. And they're thinking about it in their own, like, scientist type of way.
What, their scientist type of way? What is that like?
Like, if I wanted to make awareness of something and I felt like I had to do something extreme, think about what I would do extreme, how I would go about it.
Yes.
Versus somebody who cares about the climate that much is going to do something, what's extreme to them.
Right.
We have two different versions of what's extreme.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be, definitely a much nicer version of extremism.
I'm going to fucking glue my hands to that painting and they're going to understand what I have to say.
Yeah, these fights are interesting, and I can't, as of now, I haven't felt anything strong enough to go out and disrupt life for other people in order to call awareness to that thing. So again, I'm built differently. It's not in my body. Like I couldn't even fathom myself going out and just like disrupting someone else's day or like a large group of people's day simply so I could have them.
Because also it just is what it is for you. Right. So you're ready to live with whatever consequences come from things not changing the way you want it to be. It's just like, if it doesn't go the way I want it, then I'm gonna have to find a way to adapt to how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty rough. It's an interesting world that we're living in these days, man.
Like, for instance, like if you were at the museum when that happened, it wouldn't ruin your experience.
No, are you kidding me? That would
up the experience. You'd be like, "Hey, I was there when."
That would so wildly heighten the experience. Threw
mayonnaise all over the Mona Lisa, bro. Like that shit was crazy.
Oh, for sure, that would be such a thing. And then supposedly.
And you're somebody who loves some art.
And supposedly a lot of the security guards, like, because there's security guards at all these places.
Yeah.
But security doesn't even feel like compelled to really go and try to like grab all these people up and try to toss them out like it's a club. Like they don't want to do that. I don't really think that that's even what they really like doing in there.
No, because everybody in
like
there.
Usually people don't do that type of stuff. So the most extreme their days probably ever get is like, hey, could you please step away from that, please?
Step back a little bit.
Could you please step back? Could you please get your child? Please don't let them touch that.
Everybody in that building, I feel like, kind of loves art. The people who are destroying it and the people who are there viewing it. So how are the people upset? Like, is that the right audience to grab?
It's sort of like
they might need some consultants.
Well,
like y'all want to make some statements.
Like y'all need to find a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, this is big enough. I don't really know if that, but that's really what it comes down to for me is what we're doing effective. Mm-hmm. Like, who is checking the efficacy of the different methodologies? That'd be
a good study.
That these different groups are fighting for, like in all these different ways. Like,
that'd be a good study.
I don't know. I'm at the house chilling.
Yeah, that'd be like what is effective.
Yeah, so that's what I think about that. But I bring all of this into focus. The Charlemagne, the guys, the drugs with Dr. Carl Hart. Are you racist or not, or do you have racist tendencies or
show?
Yeah, are you racist or not?
It'd be a good show. Like, have the contestants answer some questions.
Yeah, I think that all of it's very interesting, and I think we should all just try to just take a second to breathe and look at ourselves for a moment.
It's like what I was saying. I think everything is going in the direction that it's going at a fast rate.
Yeah.
So good things are getting better at a fast rate. Wild things are getting wilder at a wild rate. It's like almost like the way the universe is just expanding.
Someone told me the other day, actually, it was the same person that nursed that bird back to health, told me that, I don't know what degree she has, but she sees herself as a very, very smart person. Okay. And she said that she felt good coming to the place that our resort is held because that city voted blue. And she was like, isn't that great, Earl? Like, isn't it great to just know that? And yeah, I wasn't about to get in because once you already start that way, like, I don't even want to get into it. I'm at work. It was just like, and I just let her keep talking. Yeah. She didn't even really wait for me to answer. She just kept talking. Assumed that I agreed with her. And she said that she's read some studies where people that are conservative have some cognitive or neurological like malfunction that only allows them to see things in a conservative way, and that they cannot be tweaked, they cannot be quote unquote fixed.
Sure, it's the same way on the other side too, but
right.
To what she was saying, let me ask you a side question.
Go for it.
Let's say you take a nice long drive somewhere. You're on the way, I don't know, hitting another vacation in Kentucky, but you decide to drive this time, and y'all are out driving through small town. You got to stop for gas.
You better.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
Scenario one.
Okay.
Small ass town.
Okay.
A lot of American flags. Stopping to get gas. A lot of American flags. Okay, so whatever. You get gas, you leave. The next small town. A lot of rainbow flags.
Okay.
Very small town. Stop to get gas. Roll out. Do you feel any different at either gas station? Is there any? Do you breathe any differently at either gas station?
Do I breathe any differently?
Yeah, you're getting out of
I
a very small town and out in some place in Kentucky. Do you breathe a little different at either gas station?
So this is how I honestly feel about stuff. My thing is, I just get a little of exactly what it is I think you may be looking for. I get like my antennas go up when anything is being shown outrightly. Like, okay, I'll put it to you this way. The Thanksgiving Day thing that we talked about, like Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgivings, right? It's not Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. Being changed to Family's Giving, Family Day, whatever the fuck they wanted to call it. My whole point with that was, if there was a day called, because Thanksgiving is not a bad term, right? It's just they feel like they have to change it again to raise awareness so that people say, hey, why are they changing Thanksgiving over to Family Day? Because of this. And then it's like, oh, really? So that's why not because Thanksgiving is a bad term. Clearly,
they just want to bring awareness.
They just want to, and so if you change the name, people are going to ask questions about why the name's changing. But my aunt was talking to someone, I think at a store, and was like, "Oh, like she purchased something." Said, "Oh, have a happy Thanksgiving." And the lady was like, "Excuse me."
That's why I just say have a happy holiday.
Happy Family's Day.
That's why now I just say have a happy holiday. No matter what holiday it is, I don't say it. Hey, have a good holiday.
See,
have a good holiday.
And they'd be like, what holiday you talking about?
You know what today is? I'm going. I don't even say it.
Because my thing is,
I don't care what you want to call it.
Because I think that thinking a certain way or feeling a certain way is one thing, and then pressing it and pushing it out is another. Now
fighting that fight.
It's a little fighting that fight. Now, I understand everything, so I don't even want nobody already screaming at me from the other end, like listening to me in their car right now. And I don't even want nobody screaming like, "What, you don't like niggas that put up rainbow flags? What you got? You don't like what you call them?" Like, I don't want none of these problems. But what I'm saying is, because I know that people will put flags up to make other people feel comfortable, to know, hey, you're accepted here, and I get that too. And the American flag can be, hey, we are proud of America. We love living here. It can be that. And then there can be other things on both sides of these. And so my thing is, the whole switching it over to Family's Day to raise awareness can be cool. But when you like, excuse me, Family's Day, like, cause like now I said something offensive by saying that now we're getting into murky waters. So when I start to see a whole lot of anything, I start to question, what type of place am I in? And if I say something, because I might get out at that gas station with the pride and I say the wrong joke, or I say something that isn't super sensitive to everyone, and then now I'm the enemy. Even though I'm not the enemy.
No matter if it's a lot going on at either location, you might get jaded for the wrong thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like you just don't know. You know, I had a friend that said that they moved out to it was a friend of a friend, but they told my friend that they had moved out to Oregon or one of them places up in the West, maybe Washington, one of them places up there where it's super duper liberal and everybody liberal wants to go up there to have whatever color hair they want and fuck anything that they want to fuck, like, and do whatever drug they want. One of them states up there.
Yeah.
And they had to leave. And it was like, hey, I like everybody, but you can't go up there and just be like telling jokes and like saying whatever you want. Like, it's not free like that. Like people will look at you. They're not gonna laugh with you.
It's just the polar opposite of what's going down in like Texas, probably.
Yeah. Like you just gotta you know what I mean. You
Instead
just
of very rigid, it's like very rigid. Fluid.
It's rigidly fluid. Yeah.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Like you know. So that's how I feel about stuff. When people just want to just try to inundate you with their thoughts and their beliefs about things. It can be cool and it can also not be cool. So, you know, I would feel kind of weird where anything is too much.
I feel you.
That's how I feel. Cause I take a neutral, stance on things for the most part. It's like, yeah, cool. Y'all do what y'all want to do and y'all can do what y'all want to do. Just usually it comes down to when people hurt other people for me. Just like try not to do that.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, have your conversations about it. And then there will clearly be nuances and details into which maybe physically harming someone isn't the threshold. Maybe there's some other type of harm that's taking place. And that's when people will get into like the mental, like, oh, you know, they're bullying or they're saying this and that. And, you know, that's all that stuff. I don't, but I think all of that's kind of a little too much. I just think it'd be a little too much.
Yeah. I can see you getting on the car and just being like, no matter where it's just, what's going on out here? Why y'all love America so much? Why y'all got so much out here? Like,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I had a lot of really interesting conversation with my dad the other day. A lot of interesting.
Yeah. What was he saying about
what? The psychedelics?
Yeah.
Well, there was.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it yet?
I think he was watching already like something else. That was like some sort of documentary on psychedelic drugs. Oh. But we were just talking about family issues in the family, like things that most likely are not going to be fixed, reasons as to why things are not going to be fixed. But I learned a ton about him and he learned a ton about me. And we just had a conversation that we had really never in our entire lives had before.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it was definitely pretty deep, but I was, you know, for the first time trying to let him know something definitive, which was, you know, Dad, you don't get up and watch cartoons in the morning. Why don't you get up and watch cartoons in the morning? Right? It seems like a silly question to ask a grown man. Why don't you get up and watch cartoons in the morning? I don't want to watch cartoons. Like as far as he's concerned, there's nothing in the cartoon for him. Ain't nothing that like there's other things for him to be using his time with. Like I don't want to watch the cartoons. Probably feels meaningless, probably feels vacuous to him. And I was like, all right, so I want you to know that these types of conversations that I can always have with him one-on-one are one thing. But you also have to know that if I don't necessarily feel or seem compelled to always be at certain functions, I want you to know that those are my cartoons.
Okay.
I want you to know that I have been steadily distancing myself from things that seem just insipid, vacuous, vapid nothingness.
It's unnecessary.
Like, yeah, it doesn't call to me. Yeah, it doesn't call to me. And sometimes those are people. And sometimes those people share your last name.
Right.
And so we were able to have just a very mature conversation of, I'm not always going to be around, and you can have like a real reason as to why. So you don't have to wonder like, where's Earl at?
Yeah, what's he up to?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, why is he not fucking with it?
Not doing something.
It's like, okay, I understand what's going on with him and why he doesn't necessarily like to be around these functions and whatever the case is. I see things as like very decorative and ornamental. That's how I look at them.
Doing them just because we've always done them.
Yes. Because when someone says, you gotta go, like you gotta be there.
Why? Because it's today.
Because it's the thing. It's the wedding. It's the graduation. It's the Earl. Come on, you gotta take off. You gotta be there. And my thing, and again, I don't expect for this to be received on the other side by everyone, because unless you have a certain understanding, it's not gonna make no fucking sense. If you are just in the programming of you're just supposed to do this thing and be at this place and clap your hands and blow out the cake and give the gifts and scream and whatever the fuck, then that's what you do. You go to those places when those people tell you to be there, and you dress up and you spend whatever money and you spend whatever time going to that place and doing that thing.
Right.
I don't want to do that shit. You know how crazy it is to be a person where if you don't want to do some shit, like you won't do it. Do you know? Because if you become that person in this lifetime, you're going to befuddle people.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, "What are you what are you talking about? You're not. Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, but you got it. No, I don't have to.
I'm not going.
I'm not going.
I don't want to do.
I don't want to do this thing anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to be in this position with you. I'm actually leaving right now.
Yeah,
I actually don't even want to be doing this right now.
Yeah.
And so when we were reading Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, one of the things that called out to me most in there was that the non-drifters, the 2%, so what is that of 8 billion? What did I say? It was like 1,600,000, right? People in the world out of the 8 million or 8 billion. Make decisions based on how they want to carve out their life.
Yes.
And then there are a ton of people, and this isn't the wrong thing. It's just a thing. And then there are most people that are just going to fall into the fold, fall into the mold, because that's what you do. But then there are just other people. It's like, no, I actually don't have to do that. I don't have to. Maybe you won't like it if I don't do it, and maybe that caused some sort of rift in our relationship. But if you got to know who I truly was and you got to understand what my values were, you would understand why I don't want to do this. But if you don't want to understand those values, then you'll just be upset with me.
Exactly.
But the thing is this is where the shit like gets fucked up as far as I'm concerned, because, and why I feel like I'm a bit more on the right side. I could be wrong about that. Because I'm willing to sit and heal with you. I'm willing to sit and take real quality time with you. I just don't feel like doing this other shit. And so my thing is, so you're telling me if I run around and I go to all these little parties and I do all these things, does that equate? Like, what does that equate to? Like,
especially when you look at it from, you're thinking that this experience, most of it, y'all are not even going to really remember it the way I'm going to remember it. So to you, it's like, is it really that important to y'all?
That's another thing, is also just my understanding of people's lack of experience. So it's like, we hear half the time so-and-so is going to be arguing about the parking space that we didn't get because so-and-so didn't see the parking space, so we had to drive over here. So they worried about the parking space. You going to be worried about the tickets. Did you forget the tickets? We got to go back to the hotel room. We got to get the tickets. You going to be upset about that. Someone else is just going to be thinking about some whole entire other shit. Most of y'all niggas are going to be on your phone scrolling through Instagram or Twitter or something like that. So we're
very predictable for you.
You're upset. You don't want to be here for whatever reason. Y'all have all these issues amongst yourselves at this place. And so we're here, and this was my whole issue with always like taking these photos and cheese, but like right, but knowing that ain't really the vibe.
That's not how we feeling right now.
That's not really how we're feeling. Like I actually hate you because whatever the fuck reason I hate you, but like there's all these issues going on with people. But we go, hey, cheese, happy day.
We're having a good time.
Happy family day. Right. So
happy day.
So my whole thing is I just don't like when people expect me to, and it's not that I don't like it. I just don't even subscribe. It's not even about me not liking it. I stopped subscribing to this stuff. Like I just dropped out. And so the thing is, you can't just expect me to take place in all of this. And I say fake shit because it's, again, ornamental. It's decorative. It's all this stuff like on the outside, but on the inside, we not
good.
Yeah, it looks good.
The picture probably look fire.
The picture looks great. Yeah. So you'll be able to look back and be like, oh, look at us.
Yeah.
But I'm be like,
what did we do that night? What did we talk about? And I know you're thinking, I don't remember. They don't remember.
Or I'm gonna be like, hey, look at this person in the picture. They actually don't seem quite as happy. I wonder why. Oh, it's because they couldn't bring their loved one because the family don't fuck with the loved one. And they don't ever talk about this loved one that this person has. They're not even allowed over the house.
God.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's a huge chasm in the relationship of family. So it's these types of things. Like I'm willing to do the real stuff.
Yeah.
So don't get upset with me. Like I'm not here ready.
Yeah.
Y'all just want to do this other stuff. And like and you have to respect that I don't want to do that. Like I have to respect that y'all don't want to do this. And we should be able to move apart amicably, knowing that we don't want to do what the other one's doing.
Okay.
That should be completely
It's all making sense now. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together now.
You got some other shit you have to.
Yeah.
You can't say it on here.
Maybe not. It's all coming together now.
That's how I feel about things. Like I just like we do. I just don't want to do that.
I feel it.
I don't want to do that.
I know exactly what you mean now.
So that's how I feel about that. But we had a great conversation about that, and I was.
But as you are getting older, are these relationships one by one patching up, like growing still?
Well, are they patting? Some of them are getting, just like you said, with that momentum, they going in the way that they headed. Some of them getting worse and worse.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, because I don't take responsibility for how people live their life and what understandings they come into and when they come into them. I let people be them.
Right.
And there's only been so much, you finna do. But I'm here, though. Right. Whenever somebody wants to have a real conversation about anything.
We can do it to you. We can do that. Like, we can sit down at any time and do that.
I'm here.
All right. Like, so, if they were to call a big, let's just all sit at a big ass table and talk.
I'm the first there.
Right.
I will be there waiting.
Right.
I'll have pen and pad for everybody across the table, bottles of water, whatever they need.
Right.
I'm gonna get it catered to.
So it's not about getting together. It's what we're doing while we're together.
That's all I'm ever saying.
You just want that shit to be meaningful. Can we do something like real? Even if it's uncomfortable, can we do something real? Right.
That's all I'm ever saying.
Okay.
That's all. I don't care about discomfort. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not even a thing. Yeah, I don't care about that.
All right. Because the most situations are they're uncomfortable, but there's just no meaning behind the discomfort.
Yeah,
we're all together for a picture at the end of the day. Yeah.
So we had some
picture and a meal.
Picture and a meal, and we said we did it.
Yep. Okay.
And that's all. So it's interesting, again, being someone that can just flip that switch and be like, yeah, no, I actually don't want to. Yeah. And it brings me to this point. I read a mystery book about it a long time ago. Like the mystery took place at a monastery where it was just filled with monks that have taken the oath of silence. And so it was like this detective that had to go like solve a murder case in a monastery where someone had died, but no one speaks.
Wait, what's this? I might have to read this fucking book.
I forgot what it was called, but I gotta.
Nigga, I know you.
So you gotta go around as a detective and like just observe shit because no one's talking to you about anything. So you have to observe things. Who
thought of that one?
It was an interesting book.
That's a great.
But I've often thought about monks that take oaths of silence that are like, you know what? I'm done talking.
Wow.
Like I've done enough talking. All the things that are worth talking about, like it's already been talked about.
Yeah.
We at this point, because I think it's just like we're talking in circles. Human beings have been living long enough to know that we ain't fixing nothing. I think that's where they're at. Like we're not.
They just give up. Is that what that means?
I think in the way of trying to have discourse with other people that will change the course of.
So why don't like two quiet niggas just get together and talk? I don't know.
Because they're not quiet no more.
I'm saying like if we both decided.
No, the thing is we done talking.
Yeah.
Or like we're just going to go sit, meditate.
Yeah.
Like be to ourselves. But we're going to be to ourselves in the same place, if that makes sense.
I wonder or is there just a lot going on upstairs to where it's like they're not interested anymore in what's going on outside?
Well, there's probably one calming down what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And I think that there is just an ultimate realization of this is really all that matters. Mm-hmm. Like if I can go to a place that has a bed and there's going to be food,
unlimited food that just
unlimited food in a bed I can go to sleep in, and I'm just going to have a robe that I wear every day.
You know what?
Then I'm just going to sit alone and meditate and eat food and go to sleep, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. My father and I talked a lot about death, and that's where a lot of the psychedelic conversation came in. Because, he's still dealing with stuff from his mother passing.
Right.
He's got to clean out the room. Stuff starts to come back up. There are a lot of like waves after someone dies that like people don't really think about until someone dies.
Is removed from the planet.
Yeah. Then
still a lot that happens.
That has to happen afterwards. Yeah. And so, it was great having that conversation with him about like his emotions dealing with that. But, him and I having this conversation about how much he worries about, the children, like, me and my siblings and all these different people. And it's just something he feels like he can't turn off being a father. He's just like, it's a package deal, Earl. It don't matter if you tell me not to worry. Like, it's a package deal. Like, I got to do it. And I'm like, okay, that could be something I don't understand. I'm not a father. I don't fucking know. But what I will tell you is that, and the funny thing is, I'm like, Dad, and you already know this, is that none of us matter. Mm-hmm. We don't matter. So there is an okayness that sweeps over a lot of times with psychedelic drugs. And it's not an okayness that just proves to you that things are going to always be positive in your life. It's an okayness that whether they are or not, it's okay. Mm-hmm. That's the sort of sweeping okayness.
That one's hard to explain because once you get ripped back away from like the ego and reality, and you see life or existence for what it really is, and then you understand almost, afterlife, before life things. That's where you can attach all that. Everything's going to be fine feeling from.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to understand than it is to preach.
Of course. You
know what I mean?
Of course. Absolutely.
So it's like,
of course.
Yeah. You won't get it until you see it.
Yeah. I'm just having the conversation with him. I'm not expecting him to be like, oh, you right. And it just shit just hit him. Like, but he was like, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, he did say, he was like, that is the case. Like he was like, death is just as natural as birth. We come and we go. And that's just the nature of all things. And I'm like, I've been okay with going for a while, and I'm okay with other people going in the way that I'm okay with going. Like it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And again, those psychedelics take you to a place where that understanding sweeps over you. Yeah. And I was telling him, like, man, ultimately, me not wanting to be a part of such of the minutia, right? That I'm one deeming minutia, is simply because I've been too submerged in meaningful things for me. I just have no other time. I have no other room for what I feel like is bullshit. I don't have it. And in this life, I became one of the people that was going to decide that for the blink of an eye that they're here experiencing things on this earth, I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. That isn't disruptive to others. Now, they may think that is disruptive, but it is not an outwardly disruptive thing. I'm not going out of my way at all to disrupt what other people have. Yeah. Now, maybe my dealings and how I decide to live my life, that may disrupt their mind, but that is their mind problem, not my mind problem. And I was telling them, like, Dad, I realized around 20, I realized that at the end of the day, life is going to happen.
Right.
But I control my mind. I can get a grasp of that. And so I was like, I'm just going to work really, really, really hard for a long time to try to master my mind. Like, that is what I'll dedicate.
Like the monks.
That's what I'm bringing it up for.
Like the monks. Yeah.
Because once you get a hold of that, and you have your food and your water in your bed and your one or two robes, you done talking, and you done, like, trust me, there might be a day where y'all just like, yo, y'all heard from Earl? Where's Earl at? That is a legitimate thing. I could like very Bhutan, well I'm
Bhutan.
I could very well leave one day and just be gone and be like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna go chill. I'm gonna
just go inside and I'm gonna get right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, however you, because I look at it as like, I don't want to use the word dream, but I'm observing everything.
Okay.
So however you want to observe it is how you observe it. Reality. Your life. You get what I'm saying? So, like, even in situations that I deem it's like, man, I don't even want to be here, I'll break it down to the point where I'm like, but I'm going to sit here and just observe it. Like, why am I being shown this? Why is this happening around me? In a way.
It's been the biggest realization, and to me, it's been the biggest tool that I've come to. Is just being present, breathing, focusing on the current stimuli,
mindfulness, and just
I know
big
that
words.
I know that's mindfulness and big words.
Yeah,
that's it exactly. And it means everything because it solves so many problems.
Yeah,
it solves so many, and you don't realize it until you go down that path. So he's thinking, like death, or, you have a loved one that's going through any sort of grief. And like, it just hurts you to have to think about the fact that they're going through that grief. Well, why are you thinking so much about the fact that they're going through that grief? Now, it could seem like a cold thing. Like, all this could seem very cold.
Yeah.
And that's what's fascinating about it is it doesn't seem cold. It doesn't seem like you've just, extracted any semblance of empathy from your being. It's not that. It's just you allocate your brain power to the current thing. At any point in time, the best thing I can do is focus on what I'm doing at the moment.
Like I was telling a homie today at work, like, because I was telling you, a lot of people don't like that job site for whatever it is. And I'm like, you can only control what, like, you can control, which is just really your reaction to things.
Like they don't like, what don't they like?
He's with it. Like, he's not like how most people are there. A lot of people come in there, man, I fucking hate this project sucks. But I think they just want a collective thing to complain about because we are in a fire ass project, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so comfortable. It's so easy. Like, but like with them complaining, I'm telling him that if they were just to focus on things that they can control, you know,
Yeah.
like how you react to being here, you wouldn't be so upset.
You have to take agency back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what
like,
it is.
oh.
Yeah, people are upset when they're in jobs and they don't get to, I don't know, whatever the case is. It's not their enterprise, so they don't
Right.
get to run it exactly how they want to run
Yeah.
it. And so maybe they feel like they're stifled by the system or something like that.
So like with him, like thinking about people dealing with the death, like in a bad way, it's like I can't control how they take it. So it sounds like you said, it sounds cold.
It sounds cold,
But I can't really I can't control that. So it doesn't bother me.
Right.
Which sounds cold.
It sounds cold.
Like I have empathy. Like I feel bad that you feel bad, but at the same time, it's like
But how long?
It's not weighing hard
like,
on me.
It's like how long do you allow the empathy and the sympathy to sit and just like settle? Like, okay, like I understand you're going through something.
I feel it. It's valid. It's real. But it doesn't like hinder how I'm like maneuvering through this reality.
Right.
I'm still just pushing. It just is what it is. You know.
It is. Yeah. So
I have to find a way to accept it, kind of thing. I don't know. Sounds like you said. It sounds cold.
Yeah, it's very hard to even find a way to spin it where it doesn't sound just like a cold thing.
It's more so just being at peace.
Right, which is the funniest part of it.
Yeah.
Is that it's peaceful.
Yeah, it's more so being at peace. Peace, patience, all that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's funny. When's your timer going off?
Let me see. We got 9 minutes. Yeah.
Is there any what's going on with your workout? Matter of fact, hold on a second. You were talking about Blaze, you were talking about Chris Sluggo.
Yes, sir.
We are gonna get them back on this podcast. I want Vince to come back on too. What have they been on? What's going on with them?
Sluggo's been out here getting it popping, man. You know his
oh yeah, he's out there.
He's filming The Hunt. That was the podcast that he was on. But yeah, he films like people that are out there hunting.
Yeah.
Like the whole process, which is, I want him to talk about it more, but it's harder on them because you got to get up before the hunters, get all the camera gear ready, get out there, and like you're carrying all that equipment miles with them.
Oh yeah.
You're staying awake longer than them. For you to get up and film their process, you're
right,
and you're out there hiking and all that shit,
right,
as they're doing it too.
Right. Yeah, that is. Yeah,
like
it's a hell of a workout.
Strenuous, bro.
But he's happy doing it. I would imagine.
This man flew to like Colorado, hopped out the plane like right away, hit like a hike up a mountain, like because like normally you're supposed to, I guess, get used to like the atmosphere change. You know what I'm saying? Nope. Landed, got right to it. I was like, God damn. Like imagine like a hike way up there in that elevation, just getting right to it.
Yeah, he's built different though.
Yeah. But he also did a lot of training on here. Yeah, he'll run it. He did a lot of training.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Just being out there, and again, he gets to be out there like underneath the real stars.
Yeah,
and he gets to really be out there with the elements.
All that land, all this land in this country. Like you can drive 30 minutes in any direction, and it automatically turns into nothingness. Like just barren land.
Yeah,
bro, it's like more land that's not developed out here. To put that in perspective, I think about the size of the earth. If you just, I don't know, it's just random thought that just goes.
And then Blaze, and she's just working out, being super strong and intense.
Yeah, I know that she was talking about becoming, not becoming, but getting into part of her degree, what she's studying, and trying to do like strength and conditioning coaching at the local high schools. Pretty sure that was something that was coming up.
Okay, just trying to teach the young ones.
Yeah, I think she went over to Nova, tried to convince them, but like a lot of people are like, "Oh, what's this woman? She can't teach me, how to work out." Because working out dudes.
Oh man!
But a majority of them are gonna be like, "I can lift more. I know what I'm doing. I lift weight. I don't need to think."
What are your goals right now in the gym? Are you?
Oh man,
Are you maintaining? Or
just maintain, just be better than I was before. I actually like hurt my back a little bit last week.
Oh,
I got in the gym and got out. I was on my last set. Wasn't being mindful of what I was doing during the dumbbell snatch. You know, I didn't respect the dumbbell like I should have because I was in my last set. So I got this. Stood up with it and did it wrong. Ooh, tweaked it back. Didn't even go to work the next day. just laid in bed straight as a board. Ooh. And hit them like, yeah, I'm not gonna pull up today. I'll see y'all Wednesday.
I took the week off. Have you ever been to a chiropractor?
No, but this whole week's made me think about that.
Have you ever been to a masseuse? You've never gotten.
Nope. There's a lot of things that I need to be like. I should try. Yeah. Clearly, like Mo last week went to the little cup thing. He does it twice a week.
Oh, what is that again? It's like hot cups on you.
Hot cups, and it relieves pressure and brings the blood flow up.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like the little glass ones that they put on, like little light bulbs.
You can see like the dark not clotted, but darker blood, I guess. Because you got a lot of shit caked in the muscles, especially with a muscly ass nigga like Mo. Yeah. He's like, bro, you just feel so much better like coming out. I believe it. There's
so many things that they just be figuring out.
And once you do it, you're like, damn, why wasn't I doing
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Why the fuck
but you also just can't do everything.
Like, bro, I'm trying, like, the hot yoga, I want to do all this shit, bro. Everything that's good, I'm going to get to it.
Yeah, you can't do everything.
Yeah. Schedule be tight, so it's hard to like throw in new things because you know me, I'm gonna really do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna really get that shit in. Yeah. So,
see, and that's the doer in you,
right?
That's the doer in you.
Right.
Just flip the switch and get some shit done.
Right.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get you where you need.
Wait. You were talking about just having the robe, having the food come in.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, I guess it was like a hypothetical I was gonna ask you.
Okay.
You go to work.
Your hypotheticals are so fucking funny.
Because they start from real left field, so that I can really build on it.
All right, go ahead.
You go to work. Got a little work Christmas function going on. Y'all got Secret Santa.
Okay.
Somebody, they get you a gift card and like some scratch-offs. Whatever. You scratch off. You hit for,
you so stupid. You scratch off.
You hit for 10 million.
10 mil?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. I know you're going to get you're not going to be living here. You're not going to be in here with $10 million. I know you're not going to be on gamble with $10 million.
Well, again, we have to also keep in mind that 10 million's a lot, but you can't just be stupid with 10 million because that 10 million will
you're not about to go get a mansion. I know you're not. I know you're not about to do that. But I know you're not about to be here with 10
Well, first of all, in a few months, I'm not going to be here. Right. So, like, no, I wouldn't just be here.
Right. So what I'm saying is, wherever you do end up, I know there's a certain room that you would probably have set up. Like for me, when I plan on building, I want to put a room on the highest floor where the ceiling is all screens that's hooked up to some weatherproof, balling ass telescopes where I can sit inside and point the telescopes and have the screen inside, like look at the stars and zoom in and see these stars.
Shit.
That's a Mikey.
You on some Tony Stark?
That's a Mikey ass room. Okay?
Yeah.
But what would like a Earl ass room look
That's
like?
funny. You should watch the show Night Sky on Netflix.
I'm with it.
Yeah, or just watch the first episode
with it.
because it's very similar to what you just said, where someone has a room actually just like that.
Man, damn.
Yeah, that's actually really, really funny.
I'm about to find that. What would an Earl ass room like?
What would an Earl ass room
Probably
look like? It would
very minimal furniture
for sure. Minimal furniture, yoga mats and pallets and stuff around. A lot of little pillows and things like that. It probably glass walls, so that I could see the nature that's surrounding me because there would be streams and trees and things like that surrounding the house. So it would probably be like that where I could just wake up and I'm just surrounded by
you're protected, but you're not. You're still out there.
Yeah, I can just look. Yeah. I can look straight through the walls
that
and just look outside.
Fire.
Yeah. So it would probably be just like that. So I'm just waking up in nature, but in my house.
Yeah.
It would probably be something
that would be fire. Yeah,
just like that.
You can just look. You wake up and you're just looking outside.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and just wake up. And just have a nice maybe cup of tea and just do some yoga and just
and just be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Open up the screen, listen to the stream going in the morning.
I've always thought about having like
Some birds chirping.
they made pools, but it's really just a collection of like stream water that moves in and out. So it's not just stagnant water.
Oh shit!
You know, wouldn't that be something fire to get into, like in your backyard, where you're in the stream, but it just continues to move?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be very cool to find all sorts of ways of like using renewable resources to be self-sustainable. That would be cool. But again, that must be something that takes years and years to understand. To be truly self-sustainable.
Yeah.
That would be. Yeah, that would be the dream. But I would definitely people would definitely be asking like, "Yo, where's Earl at?"
Oh yeah, I already know that.
Yeah,
It ain't no signal. You'd have to make your own signal. It's for something.
When you say signal, so people can find me. Like,
like signal would be available if you wanted it to be available. It would just not be available.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I'm sorry, I also don't want it to make it seem like no one is ever going to be able to get in contact with me ever again. That's not what I meant.
Yeah,
I just meant I'm gonna be out the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna just be out the way. All right, episode 149. Peace. Thank you guys.